indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ashley, can I have a roll call, please?
Kressel. Klatt.
Here.
Menard.
Here.
Jurdy. Here. Fisher.
Here.
Briggs.
Here.
Cavalier.
Here.
Okay, we have oath of office tonight. Chief Seltzer will be swearing in a new police officer.
All right, thank you, Mayor, Council. I'd like to introduce our most recent addition to the Crookston Police Department, Alex Rudnick. Alex grew up in Crookston and graduated from Crookston High School. Alex attended University of Minnesota Crookston, where he earned his bachelor's degree in natural resources law enforcement, park management, and a minor in horticulture. Alex comes to us with 10 years of law enforcement experience, 3 years as a dispatcher, and 7 years as a deputy, where he worked for both Marshall and Kitson County. Alex has been married to his wife, Sarah, for 12 years, and together they have 2 daughters, one 7-year-old and one 5-month-old. And they are currently looking for, or in the process of moving back to Crookston. So welcome, Alex. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. As a police officer with the Crookston Police Department, I solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota, to impartially enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Crookston, to work toward providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community. To adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, compassion, and respect. To faithfully discharge the duties of police officer to the best of my knowledge and abilities. That I take this obligation freely and without any mental reservation. Congratulations and welcome to the Crookston Police Department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Alex.
Yeah,
Welcome.
welcome.
Give him a chance to move out. No problem. Okay, this is time for the open forum. If anyone would like to address the council on any issue not already on tonight's agenda, may come to the podium, state your first, last name and address, please. Hearing none from chamber. Chad, anybody on the phone bridge, please?
No one this evening, Your Honor. I will close the bridge.
Okay, thank you.
Agent logged off.
All right, no presentations. This brings us to the agenda. Does anyone wish to add or remove anything from tonight's agenda? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you,
I'll second
Tim.
that.
And Clayton, thank you. Discussion, hearing none. Let's have roll call, please.
Klatt.
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Jurdy. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
Briggs.
Aye.
Cavalier.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. This brings us to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Christie.
second.
And a second by Henry. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Clat.
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Jerdy.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Briggs.
Aye.
Cavalier.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. No public hearings. Regular agenda. Ashley, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Item 9.01 is a resolution regarding the City of Crookston to zone areas surrounding its airport.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tim. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Henry. Discussion. Corky, please.
Yes, this is a resolution that's required as we are making plans for the AWAS changeover. We need to include various townships surrounding the airport. We've sent letters to the townships that are affected. 2 have chosen not to respond. 1 has chosen to respond, as well as the county. So we need this resolution to embark on the AWAS change at the airport.
Thank you. Further discussion.
So by them not responding, what does that mean?
It just means they can't participate in the zoning process.
Okay, so it still can be zoned regardless?
Yes, absolutely. We've complied with all the statutory requirements.
Okay.
Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Clat.
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Jerdy.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Briggs.
Aye.
Cavalier.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on.
Item 9.02 is a resolution regarding approving the special event application for the Crookston Chamber of Commerce Crazy Days event, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Henry. Discussion. Corky, please.
Yes, what this involves is, as you recall, last year we enacted an ordinance for vendors, food vendors in our community. Did require a fee to be a vendor. There is an exception. If an organization, a community or civic organization obtains a special event permit, then the fee is not required of the vendors. The Chamber of Commerce has requested such a special event permit be enacted. If one is enacted, then vendors who appear for this community event for this one day only would not be required to pay a fee. A criteria being this is a community event, it's a nonprofit civic organization that has requested the permit, and then what would happen is the vendors who will be here would file with the chamber would provide our city clerk with a list of the vendors. We would still conduct the background checks to make sure that they are appropriate here in the city, and if appropriate, after the background check by our city clerk and by our chief of police, and if they check out favorably and that they have their license from the state, they would be allowed to sell their products without a fee.
That includes a food handling permit as well?
Yes.
That's part of it.
So, how do I put this? Let's say they don't have the Department of Minnesota, but they got the North Dakota one.
No, we require a Minnesota.
Okay, but would the director of the chamber, whoever files, kind of let them know that they gotta have the Department of Minnesota, so?
The chamber as well as the city, when we get the list, would let them know we gotta have a when we do our background check, see if they have a food handlers. If they don't, they have to get that permit.
So is that required as part of the process?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
So just out of curiosity, let's say they don't have a Minnesota Department of Health permit, how long does that take?
So, again, we had an instance where somebody wanted to come over for an event, and they had to either go to a facility in Fergus Falls or Bemidji. Those are the 2 closest locations that they can go and have their mobile food unit inspected by to get that Minnesota Department
So
of
it
Health.
could be as soon as a day or 2, depending on how quickly they go to one of those
Right,
spots.
okay.
Could take longer.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Clat.
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Jerdy.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Briggs.
Aye.
Cavalier.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 9.03 is a resolution regarding the approval of the special event application for the police department for the National Night Out event.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved, Your Honor.
I'll second it, Your Honor.
You have Clayton
Clayton and
and,
Delane?
Delane,
yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I gotta get in there before you guys end it, so.
These guys are rapid fire.
no time to think it through.
Right.
All right, discussion, please.
Yes, this is identical. The Crookston Police Department for the National Night Out has also requested a special event permit, same criteria, same everything. Again, the criteria are, this is a community event, one-time event. It involves many, if not all, the citizens of Crookston, and it is the same as the resolution you just approved, only with respect to the police department.
All right, thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I roll call, please?
Clat,
Aye.
Menard,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs, Cavalier.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 9.04 is a resolution declaring a vacancy for the at-large council member.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this
So
resolution?
move, Your Honor.
Got a motion by Don, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Henry. Discussion. Corky, please.
Yes, with the untimely passing of Councilman Melby, we have to declare a vacancy. The charter provides in section 2.05 the mechanism for doing that. And the mechanism is that you make a discussion about what you want to do after you declare that there is a vacancy in this position.
Further discussion. So once the resolution passes, then we can have a discussion on this?
Yes.
Thank you. Further,
After this, you're gonna have a discussion?
About the process of filling it.
okay, thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Clat,
Aye.
Menard,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Now we'll open it up. Process.
Process, there are a number of ways that this can be handled. I'll just give you examples of a couple. One, we do have a statement prepared where we send it out over social media as well as the radio station, other publications tomorrow. And we say that there is this position open. Because it is an at-large position, anyone within the community could express an interest. Any of those individuals would then potentially be interviewed by the council itself. One timeline is we send this out tomorrow, and we close expressions of interest on July 3rd, and we interview as a council on July 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th. Having a selection made then for the July 10th meeting. Another is to extend it out. Again, publishing through social media and other potential publications. This position is open, and we extend the deadline maybe to the 9th, 10th, 11th, sometime after that, again, to interview and then have such an individual selected for presentation on the 24th. Completely up to you how you wish to do it. One is expedient, gets it done quickly, you're ready to go. One takes a longer period of time.
Part of the reason that I think we should go sooner than later is because we're gonna be moving into budget stuff, I would think pretty quick, probably before the end of July, correct?
Yes, I believe Audrey has already sent out to department heads that we're beginning the process, and yes,
Is there an option to appoint someone?
that's what you will be doing.
That's what the interview process is for.
It's an interview and then an appointment.
Oh, I see. I see.
You also could not have an interview process. You could just talk amongst yourselves and appoint someone. The advantages of that, you could do it very, very quickly. Disadvantages are optically, and for the citizens, it doesn't give them a lot of time.
Yeah, I think,
Doesn't give them
I mean, I don't
involved.
know what anybody else thinks, but I think if anybody, it's kind of nice to know for future reference if other people want to get on the council, so we can kind of
Yeah.
help them through the process if it ever becomes to that point. So I think opening it up for the public and see who we get and
Yeah.
do the interview process, I think.
So if who's ever interested and applies, are you council okay with this aggressive timeline?
I'm a little hesitant. I feel that that really only gives maybe 4 or 5 work days, and then you have the holiday, right? And then after that, you have Polk County Fair, which is the 5th through the 9th. I'm just a little concerned. And the sake of transparency, the sake of us making sure that we're getting anybody who really wants to apply, I do wonder if maybe, would it kill us to wait another week or so? I understand wanting to get somebody up to speed, especially as our budget time comes, but I also don't want us to rush it and then not allow enough time for everybody to be fully aware of the opportunity. So I'm just throwing that out there, especially with the holiday and
I mean,
everything that's coming out.
I understand that too, but I mean, I feel like anybody who is really interested is going to
Yeah.
be coming at the opportunity pretty quickly, and the extra week isn't really going to give us a lot of other people coming in.
I agree with you, Henry, that if somebody wants to run, they'll run and put their name in right away, I believe, hopefully.
So if we went that long, we would be
Yeah.
waiting, what's the last council in
And
July?
if you think about it, it's really 4
The
days.
24th.
It's really 4
That's a
business
good
days.
timeline, I think.
24th would be the last council meeting in July. Can always have a special one.
Yeah,
That's certainly an option.
yeah.
I guess if we extended, like Christie's kind of proposing, I would like to have a special council meeting then.
And I'd be okay with that. I just think if we agree to it today, that gives like
They get,
5 business days.
right,
And then you have the holiday.
The 10th
enough.
would be like,
Yeah.
and within.
Well,
the-
it's
in
a
the-
thoughts,
That's
just,
I hear what Christie's saying, but I think the people out there are thinking about it probably right now, and they'll get their name in right away, and
Yep, I do too.
Well, there's one possibility that we could interview people on the 11th, well, let's say 6th or 7th of July. If some people can't come then, you could do it after the council meeting on the 10th, and then have a special meeting during the week of the 10th.
That sounds
It's a
good.
possibility.
I don't know, special meetings in the month of July are a challenge for all the council people to be here, I think, and people got stuff going on in the month of July. So,
further discussion.
Got to give us direction.
Clayton?
Yeah.
Don?
I think that we should, use a suggested timeline that Gorky has given us. So that gives us enough time.
he's
to-
given us 2. So would you do the earlier one or
The short or the long
The
term?
short or the long?
Short term, yeah, 24th.
So that, just again, so you know, we would publish tomorrow, we'd run the publication and the social media through the
You said the
Third.
3rd, which is a
third,
Monday.
and interview 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever days would be available.
For consensus.
Can I also just
But the-
double check, does anybody have obligations with Polk County Fair?
And then I also want to say too, though, if you do give until the 3rd, at the end of the day on the 3rd, we are closed the 4th. So we wouldn't be able to call the individuals to set up appointments until the 5th. So you technically could not ask them to, unless you've already just state to them, keep the 5th, 6th, and 7th open. But I'm just giving you guys that awareness on that.
That's fine.
I agree with Christie. I think we should have a longer time, that extra week. That's my opinion.
You need a vote on this, or?
I think there's, I would just say Polk County has a lot of people that are gonna be obligated, including myself.
So I'm wondering too, I mean, because I can't really interview, or who's ever interested until you get back the day after the 4th. You know, then it kicks us into, you know, this,
Already into
the
the next.
6th and 7th is, what, the 7th is a Friday, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And then people are, boom, they're gone. So it'd be tough to do the interview process, I think.
We
So-
could have 2
So-
weeks.
So we have, getting a consensus here, so Henry thinks we should do it early, Don thinks we should do it early, and I think we should do it early.
I think we should get it.
I'm with Christie.
Okay.
I really think
So Mayor,
that
it's up to you.
we need a little more time.
I think we should move it.
I like the aggressive thing, but I think that, you know, just because of the holiday and then they're not gonna know until the day after, and it's gonna get tough to really try to squeeze in an interview process, I think, with Friday coming around the corner. And how many people take the week off from
That's what I was thinking
the
too,
4th?
Yeah.
that holiday week. Do you think
So
that we could do
how
something like
badly
a,
do they want to be a council member?
I hear that too.
I
get
mean,
it.
special meetings, I mean, half of us showed up to the last special meeting.
Yeah, I could tell you
Like, I
about
mean,
July, by July's
we barely
full,
made
I won't be able to make it
consensus
to any
for that.
special meetings in July.
Well, why don't we just?
We can't-
we
But
could-
then you also
Can we
need to
do-
remember that the whole council has to be here too for the interview process. So
Right.
if you're gonna be doing something the week of July, the 5th, 6th, or 7th, you need to keep that in mind as well, because you have to be here for those interviews.
and that's what I was saying, like, I have obligations to the Polk County Fair.
Okay,
I wonder, is there a way for us to do some type of special meeting the night of the 10th that we're already here for city council?
Well, if you haven't interviewed prior to that
Can you do
time.
the interviews that day is what I'm saying? Can we do it before? Can we do it after?
You
Sure.
mean set it for the 10th?
We could
on the
set it
Because we're
for the
already there,
10th.
and if we don't have, if Delaney's saying that he doesn't have
Then
any
you can
additional
add it
days in
for-
July, if you're already
you
here
could
for
add it
city
to the
council,
agenda.
It could
can
be
you
an
be here a little bit
agenda
earlier
item.
or a little bit later?
Yeah, you can add it to the agenda. Yes, if you do the interviews on that day. you
I mean,
can.
feel flexible with that considering we'd have to be here anyways, right?
so you're
That's up to you, and then
Looking
just
to do the
understand that could
interview.
extend your meeting a long time. Good.
But it might be better that than trying to find a day that we all could meet again.
Well,
Right?
it's completely up to you how you want to do it.
So you're looking possibly interviews after council?
Or before.
If you're gonna act on
Like
the
on the
10th, you
10th.
gotta do it before.
Yeah, so you would have the interviews held on the 10th is what you're asking?
Yeah,
Councilmember
and then we
Jordan?
can make a decision
Yeah.
at the meeting.
So basically, depending
So are
on
we
the
gonna be here all
applicants,
day
free
on
up
the
your
10th?
whole day.
Do an intervent, doing
I mean, like,
interviews?
You're
how
very-
long do you think that's gonna take?
Well,
I mean, if it's more than one person, it's gonna be. a
You're
while.
very optimistic, Dale, and I hope you're right, but
How long have these
Look at
interviews
Henry.
taken? I mean,
I mean-
historically, for context, how long have they taken in the past? You guys have done this before.
how long? I was a member of the committees, they took a half an hour each, at least.
Okay?
If you get one candidate, no problem. 2, 3, no
So
problem.
let me ask you this. Is it possible then, by the number of candidates, say we have a bunch, can we adjust on the fly and then say, okay, the 10th's not gonna do it? We're gonna need more time than that, and then adjust after that, I
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
guess. So if we have 1 or 2 applicants, then we can adjust and say, I think we can get 1 or 2 applicants done at the meeting at the meeting that night on the 10th, is that?
Certainly possible, yes.
But then, and then if we get 15,
And you,
then
Or-
we have to obviously,
We reassess.
yeah.
Here's what we can do. We can have this run through the
6th.
6th. At that time, we can evaluate,
Tina or,
yeah, Tina and I and Ashley, here's how many we got. We'll send out a proposed timeline and times for interviews, assuming they're okay with the candidates.
Sounds
Because
good.
they may very well work as well.
Yeah,
sounds good.
and in the publication too, we can state, that
Interviews will be-
interviews will be on the 10th, so that they're aware to keep that date open, so that we can let them know as well.
Yeah, I feel good with that.
Sounds like a consensus?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take care of that. We'll get the publication out tomorrow.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Good job.
All right,
So now
very good.
it is reports.
Okay.
Corky, Reports, please.
Yes, very busy 2 weeks. I've met with Lowell regarding his contracts. I believe we've reached an agreement and they'll be typed. Second, I've had a number of meetings with Janelle Wald from the Chamber with her thoughts and ideas about how we can help the Chamber and how the Chamber can better help the city. We've had a number of meetings regarding Washington School with people from the school district. Talked about ox cart days. For those of you who don't know, Mitch Berg is leaving the community. Met with him and did a type of exit interview. We've also working with Jordan to update a number of policies. I believe we have 2 of them done and we'll have 1 more, and maybe we can get that on for the next meeting if we don't have too many candidates, the interview. Also met with some citizens regarding our policy on the purchase or court procedures regarding dilapidated homes. And I will be scheduling for you all a Ways and Means Committee where I will be presenting the various options we have associated with costs. We had a deed meeting at Cheetah where we have met with a number of officials from deed talking about our various projects here. Also, we had a planning commission meeting and we will be offering up a resolution next time regarding the results of that. Jordan and I and the chief, as well as other firefighters, have been interviewing firefighters here. Hopefully we'll have an announcement at the next meeting. And we are in the process of formulating an offer to the Firefighters Association, the volunteers, for their consideration. And just today, I met with representatives of Scruffy Tails, and they have some items they'd like to present during their interview for funding. So it's been busy.
Yeah, very good.
I can also give you a report from the finance department because Audrey's not here.
Go for it.
The audit, we're working very, very diligently with the audit. Audrey and Ryan are working really hard. They are questioning documentation, coming in for different parts of that audit. The auditors seem to be really willing and able to work with us. We are sending them documents, accounts payable, invoices, all the items in an audit. And we hope to have an on-site visit scheduled in the next 2 weeks. Department heads, as I indicated, are beginning their preparations for the 2024 budgeting process. Also, Ellers, which handles our investments, has offered us a product for day-to-day cash activities, paying an interest rate of 5%, which is really, really good and considerably higher than we have been getting. We're looking further into what services they can provide to us, and we are also soliciting proposals from each of the 4 financial institutions here in the city about what services they can provide us, what interest rates they can provide us, and what fees we can eliminate being charged with our present financial provider. And things look very favorable for us in terms of the amount of interest we can earn on our funds.
Thank you. Start with Jake. Anything tonight, please?
So just a couple announcements here. The Spruce Valley will be starting their campground project, or our campground project this week. Whenever they finish up the project, Corky, I don't know what road that is, but they're finishing up that in town on the south end, and then they're gonna come over. So you might have seen some stuff down in Central Park. They're gonna, they're starting to bring in equipment and stuff. So this week they're gonna start that. The pool. So today, or last week, the heat pumps actuators came in. We unloaded them, and then I got a phone call right away this morning. and they are actually in. They finished the project today. I turned on the boiler and got that running. I'm gonna go back and check on it this afternoon. So I called Kent, who deals with our boiler there. So he's aware. And then Michaela and I are gonna go in the morning and probably start the process of getting the flow and the circulation and stuff to the pool, getting it, the chemicals balanced and stuff like that. So I do not have a timeline yet on when we're gonna open, but I will make that announcement soon. I just wanna make sure everything's running smoothly first before I make that announcement. Like Corky said, tomorrow I got budget meetings with my staff, so start the process of that, and summer's going. We're halfway there. We do take the week off for the 4th, so we will not have any activities going on next week for the Monday through Friday. My full-time staff on the park side, they've been getting a lot of projects done this year, keeping up with all the mowing and things, so they've been doing a great job, working hard, so. We've been helping out with the grass nuisance, so a few phone calls through the week, but we're handling it and getting it taken care of, so that's all I got.
Question, Jake, when they start the project in the park, the froth and the boat launch, everything will still be accessible?
Yeah, that's the plan, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's the plan. Until they get everything down there, I talked to them about barricading some things off for them and stuff like that. So until they get everything down there and start the project, but the plan is to keep the frothing and then the exit or the entrance to and from the boat launch. That's the plan right now, so.
All right, thank
And
you.
they know that. I
Is
talked to them about it.
there an estimated completion date on that, or
3 months, I believe they said, so,
Right.
give or take.
fall sometime
Fall,
probably?
yeah, so.
Is there an update on the structural engineer work at the pool?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Mann. Yes, so today, I was in touch with Lunseth, Adam Sinks. They will be here Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. And then just before the meeting started tonight, I heard back from the company, the SCH, for the structural side of the building. They are scheduled to come in at 10:30 on Thursday this week. So everything's happening at the pool this week. That's why I said I don't have an estimated date on when we want to open it. I just kind of want to get everything, all the projects going and get finished before I make a decision, so, but
Thanks, Jake.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Quick question, Corky. SCH is doing structural engineering on the pool. Are they gonna do Washington School at the same time?
That's the plan for them to be here to do Washington as well as the pool. That's got to be coordinated with the EDA, but yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Greg, anything? Brandon?
The Public Works is kind of doing their steady Betty. They've been doing some street patching. They poured a little bit of concrete today. Blair's been doing the daily mosquito counts. Over the weekend, we were at an average of 30 per day, so we're still down there. They assisted. We had the MPCA in our wastewater audit last year pointed out some riprap work that needed to be done. So Bertles and the Public Works guys completed that riprap work on our lagoons. We had a water main break on the frontage road, or Highway 2 right in front of Biermeyer Chiropractic. That's the third leak in the last 2 years. We're gonna have to look at that main here pretty soon. It's one of our main lines that feeds the north end. We're probably gonna have to replace that line. If you look at Grand Forks's mosquito counts, they spray at a much lower mosquito count than I'm referring to, because they count the different species of mosquitoes. So they only count the mosquitoes that target humans and that carry the West Nile. So like I said before, they have multiple staff members. But if anybody ever asks you why they spray at 15 and we spray at 100, it's because we're counting every mosquito in the trap. It's because we don't have the staff to get underneath a magnifying glass and identify each species. So
You're not able to identify the ones that have the West Nile?
no, we do not. No, they
So they must in Grand Forks, because I seen a report that they supposedly found some or something.
they got a grant from some organization for like a $5,000 piece of test equipment that identifies the West Nile. So, you know, it's nice to know that it's out there, but they really don't change their practices. They send out a warning to their residents that there was to use mosquito spray and whatnot, but they don't change. They don't spray more often. They don't do anything different once they do identify it. So
There's some mosquitoes that go after humans?
there is a certain species that he gave me the handbook and I never got time to really dig into it, but there's like 20 to 30 that they identify, and it's kind of like the deer tick, you know, they're more likely to have Lyme's disease. It's the same thing with mosquitoes and West Nile. So now I went off on that tangent. I don't remember what else I was going to tell you guys, but that's all I got
I
for
see the
today.
street sweeper is up and running.
Yeah, the street sweeper is out. We're trying to get through town. You know, we need to get a complete pass through town because every time it rains right now, half our storm grates plug with leaves and whatnot. So they are sweeping the streets as well. I don't know. I'll try and do a better job of making you guys a list next week so I remember.
Kind of off topic, but is that grinder installed that we?
For the rake or the grinder for the jail?
Yeah.
No, it was ordered and I think it's still out like a month.
Okay.
So we still have our makeshift device in there to try and catch as much as we can to keep it from plugging. But
If you can remember once that thing is up and working, if you can let us know how that's working for you, that'd be good to know.
Yep, I will let you know.
Brendan, I know I had asked about the lights not working at the corner of Robert Street and Main Street. Did that get fixed or taken care of?
It's a good question. I'll ask Dave tomorrow.
Okay.
Robert and Maine. Okay, I will ask and I'll let you know.
Brandon, since you brought up mosquitoes, with the current rains, I don't know how fast they multiply or start biting, but are you looking to spray before the 4th or?
We
Even
could.
with-
I mean, but they're going to
Still
count
outstanding order.
daily.
Even
here.
with the counts being where they're at, I mean, I don't know, I just feel that, you know, the 4th, there is a lot of people that stay in town and just with backyard picnics or hanging out, I have no idea, so.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I go back and forth on that because when you spray for mosquitoes, you kill everything. So you're killing the bees, you're killing the butterflies, you're killing everything. So,
Okay.
you know, if in my personal opinion, if your mosquito count is still at 30, I don't think we should spray. But
Okay.
if you guys give me other direction, I will do whatever you ask me to do.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Anything else?
Chad, anything today, please?
Briefly, Your Honor, we are very, very near completion of our network upgrades, and along with Darren, we are preparing a little presentation for council next meeting on the 10th. We'll have some slides. We'll show you what the new data center looks like, and we'll talk about how things are operating across the departments with the new systems. Speaking of working with departments, as mentioned, we're going into our budgeting exercise. I'll be meeting in turn with each department head to visit about their software licensing needs and any increases that may come within the 2024 year, and we'll adjust the budget as necessary. And just quickly, I received some real-time reports during tonight's broadcast that the audio was not working on channel 3. I tried to mitigate that and wasn't able to. So we'll have that worked out for next broadcast, and I will announce up on the city website that we'll do a rebroadcast of tonight's council meeting as a recorded version on channel 3 in the near future. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Shane? Nothing tonight. All right, thank you. Start with Tim.
Business as usual. I did have an excellent experience at the League of Minnesota Cities leadership training just this past weekend in Duluth, a week in Duluth, and I learned a lot about cannabis. And more discussion will probably ensue.
Sounds like a good meeting.
It was a highlight of the event.
It was the most attended session
It was.
of the entire thing, so.
Anything
That's all
else?
for me.
Okay, thank you. Delane?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Don?
I would like to send my sympathy out for Wayne Melby again. The funeral was well attended, and a lot of people met and talked about old times and so forth. I also attended the League of Minnesota Cities, and the theme was City Love, Lead with the Heart, and they had a lot of different kinds of things you could do to build your councils so they cooperate with each other and with the city and with all the members that are interested in our council. So it was very, very, very interesting because there were about, I suppose, 500, Tim, 600 cities there that were represented. And I met a lot of old friends there from the last 5 years. So it was very exciting. And if you ever get a chance to go again, I would encourage you to go and meet with all those people because it's a great experience. They had one speaker that was fantastic. His theme was from conflict to connection. And so basically, I think I've been on this committee council for 5 years now, and it has changed greatly. And we are really doing well with the commitment that people have on our council. And I want to congratulate you for doing such a great job because we have a lot of good things going on here in Crookston right now, and it's because of our leaders and our council. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Don. Clayton?
I'd like to congratulate Officer Alex Rudnick, and also I'm very impressed by the police department for the representation for these new hires when 13 of them show up to. That's very impressive. That's all I have.
Thank you. Henry?
Nothing for me, Your Honor.
Thank you. Christie?
I also attended the League of Minnesota Seeds annual conference, and some of the sessions that I attended and read through, cannabis, similar to what Tim said, it's pretty fascinating. We actually are, with this last legislative session, kind of opening up cannabis more to what than just the edibles and drinking, and with that comes a lot more guardrails that need to be put into place, as well as the overseeing body for Minnesota will now be a new formed body versus the pharmacy, which is also kind of fascinating and interesting to see how that all comes down. A lot of very interesting things about how this could also provide some additional funding to support cities in other ways. So I'm curious to see how that could be utilized for our city as well. I also attended one on communications for cities, and I think that, that is probably one of, I think, the biggest things that a city really needs to do in order for our citizens to truly understand what we're doing and the decisions that we're making. And I'd love to see for us to have some type of staff member that could really focus on those things going forward. And there was a lot of really great strategies that were provided in the session that I'd be happy to share. The other thing that I thought was kind of fascinating was Ellers put something on about financial management of cities, and I think that there's something to be said about having a strong financial director and having somebody who could actually implement a lot of the things that they provided and shared, and a lot of that comes down to us providing a better idea of a long-term planning, and so I'd love to hear how we go forth with that in the next year as well. And then finally, at the last day, Governor Walz gave a little speech, not there, via video, but some really interesting key outcomes for this last legislative session. And some things that I thought were of personal fascination for our city is that for economic development, there is a $10 million one-time funding for local community childcare grants, and I'm hoping that really is something that we partake in as we are broadening that opportunity and ventures. There is $49.7 million for flood hazard mitigation, and I'm really hoping that we can get some of that as well to address some of the issues that we encountered in the last couple of years. And then also there's going to be $85 million allocated for road improvement projects, and understanding that there's a real need in our town, I'm really hoping that we can also take advantage of some of that as well. So I provided that, I shared that with all the council of the most kind of highlights of the last legislative session, and there's copies over there as well, but that's what I had.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to also meet with Janelle from the chamber. I think it's going on almost a couple weeks ago. She's got her hands full, I know, and she is doing very well with what she's working on down there. I also met with Carrie a couple times. She, I think, gives me a headache after talking to her. She's got so many ideas out there, but also had the opportunity, I want to thank, I think Kami is the one that brought them to town, this deed leadership. They came to Northwest Minnesota. It was a lot of great input, and they understand our wants and needs of the city, so I know Carrie has got good connections with every individual that was, or I guess the power players at that meeting, so I think we're in a good spot moving forward. Nothing else come before council. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Very good.